This is Armavir radar station in Armavir in Krasnodar Krai, Russia. You've probably never heard of it, but it's been around since late 2006. It's been in the news recently after it was reportedly hit by a Ukrainian drone strike on May the 23rd this year. Although this isn't a geopolitical channel, I thought I'd take you on a dive into this place because it's radio related after all. At least one of the spammers and trolls will say I have an agenda, but I just like radio, that's all. So Armavir isn't Russia's only Voronezh class of radars. It's just one of 7 completed early warning radar stations operated by the Russian Space Forces. It forms a key part of the Russian early warning radar system against missile attacks and covers a large area. Voronezh radars are the current generation of Russian early warning systems, providing long-distance monitoring of airspace in the event of an aircraft intrusion or ballistic missile attack. Russia claims that within seconds of an object appearing in the system's area of operation, the location and type of object can be determined. Russia is building a large network of these, and at the moment there's 2 more under construction and 1 more planned. There are 3 functional versions of the Voronezh radars: meter, decimeter and centimeter radars. Armavir works in the meter range and is an extremely long-range radar. Voronezh M works in the meter range at VHF. Voronezh DM works in the decimeter range at UHF. Voronezh VP works in the meter range at VHF but has 6 segments instead of the 3 that the M and DM variants have, and Voronezh SM is currently under construction and allegedly works in the centimeter range. The site at Armavir was built on the old Baranovsky airfield, which has now disappeared under the new radar facility. It can be approached by road, but there's very little to see from outside the facility. The entrance sits down a dirt track, obscured from view. The radars at Armavir, and I say radars because there's 2 of them, lie at the south of the site, and there's also a radio mast and some satellite dishes on the ground close by. This array was built in the early 2000s and went into test service in late 2006. It entered a so-called experimental combat mode in 2008. It was built on the back of Russia losing radar coverage from Ukrainian systems after the 2008 dispute with Ukraine over the Dnestr radars in Mukachevo and Sevastopol. Mukachevo radar station is a Ukrainian facility originally built during the Soviet period for providing early warning of ballistic missile attacks. It's currently occupied by the State Space Agency of Ukraine. Data from this radar stopped being fed to Russia on the 26th of February 2009. June 6, 2013 saw the Armavir radar station officially commissioned by the order of Russian President Vladimir Putin. The main array consists of a pair of Voronezh DM UHF radars. They have an alleged range of up to 10,000 kilometers combined and are capable of simultaneously tracking up to 500 objects. Its horizon range is reported to be 6,000 kilometers and its vertical range is 8,000 kilometers. At a distance of 8,000 kilometers, Russia claims that the radar can detect signals as small as a football. 1 radar faces towards the southwest and 1 towards the southeast. The one facing southwest replaces the coverage lost in Ukraine, and the one facing southeast replaced the Daryal radar in Gabala that closed in 2012. On the 23rd of May 2024, both Ukrainian and other news outlets around the world reported that a drone attack had been carried out at Armavir radar station, and specifically its array. It's believed that the radar itself wasn't too badly damaged, and that there was mainly superficial damage to the buildings from which the radar is operated. It was alleged that 1 drone crashed into the lower section of one building, and the second drone crashed into the middle of the other. While it was reported that the damage was minimal, satellite photos given to the media show a lot of debris on the floor, especially around the southwest-facing radar. The view from the ground shows considerable damage too. The media reported that Ukrainian forces may have targeted Armavir over concerns about the station's ability to help provide advanced warning about its strikes involving US-supplied ATACMS short-range ballistic missiles. Ukraine claimed that Armavir can see into the country, as well as occupied Crimea. However, experts agree that the radars at Armavir are fixed in their fields of view, with the primary focus being areas such as the Middle East, the Balkans and the Mediterranean, as well as regions in Asia, including Persia and the Gulf. While the northern edge of the coverage of the two radars reportedly does include the Crimean Peninsula, there are questions about what the Armavir station can see that close and that obliquely, especially if the targets in question are lower than the horizon. Regardless of Armavir's use or relevance on the war in Ukraine, the radar array forms a key part of Russia's larger strategic early warning system, and damage to them, or even their total loss, could degrade its ability to detect incoming threats. Despite Armavir being one of 7 similar Voronezh radar stations in Russia, with 2 more under construction and 1 in planning, experts believe that repairing the damage could take 18 months, despite us not knowing exactly how extensive the damage is. The Armavir attack wasn't the end of the matter. On May the 26th, another Ukrainian drone travelled 930 miles from Ukrainian-controlled territory to target a similar Voronezh M variant radar near the city of Orsk in the Orenburg region close to the border with Kazakhstan. While the Voronezh DM radar works in the UHF range, the Voronezh M array at Orsk works in the VHF range. At the time of making this video, the extent of the damage at Orsk, if any at all, is unclear. Russian media claim that on May the 26th, a drone fell in the Orsk suburbs, allegedly targeting a military facility, and that no damage or casualties were reported. Either way, it seems clear that Ukraine has a plan to target Russian radar sites in an attempt to reduce or even disable its coverage of Ukrainian airspace. As for any further attacks, I'm sure time will tell.